Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I hope in this semester we talked a lot about lectures from TED Talk, and I hope you guys still remember some of the very interesting ones. TED Talk is a place that celebrates all kinds of creative ideas and great imagination. And today, the presentation I'm going to talk about is given by Ken Robinson. The topic is School Kills Creativity. It's rather a provocative topic, and in this presentation, I'm going to talk about why would Ken Robinson say that schools kill creativity, and how is the creativity killed by the current education system? What is the logic behind his assertion, and also what kind of reflection we can get from the notion school killing creativity. Well, at the very beginning, Mr. Robinson talked about human creativity because he was attending the 2006 TED Talk, and as I talked just now, TED is a place to celebrate this creativity and imagination. So, and after that, Mr. Robinson talked about the future. I mean, because we cannot know what is going to happen in the future, and because of the great creativity of human being, the future is something that we cannot imagine, that we cannot grasp. What is the thing that links human creativity, and the ungraspable future is education. Education is rather important because it links the thing in our head to the thing in the future, which can become actual reality. However, the reality is the current situation is quite cruel because our children's creativity are being killed. But we all know that children have extraordinary capability to create stuff. And look at this, the line, the little decoration on the bottom is created by some children. It's flowers, but also they draw the flower in a very unique way. So we can always, when you interact with some children, you can always feel their way of thinking are so different and so creative. However, Mr. Robinson said that creativity are being killed. We would wonder, how would creativity being killed is killed? Well, before we analyze all these reasons, I want to give you an example given by Mr. Robinson. The example is that in a drawing class, there's a little girl who always sitting in the back of the classroom, and the teacher hardly paid any attention to her. But one day the teacher went over to her and asked her, "What were you drawing?" The little girl said, "I'm drawing a picture of God." The teacher said, "Well, nobody knows what God looked like." The little girl said, "Well, they will in a minute." Well, you can see the children, they are never afraid of, when they don't know something, they just give it a go. They take a chance to come up with something in their mind, and they don't afraid of being wrong. Well, by no ways Mr. Robinson means that being wrong is being creative, but here we're talking about sometimes we lose the ability to be creative because we are frightened of being wrong, and we're not prepared for the mistakes. If you are not prepared for mistakes, you are not prepared for being wrong, then you will never come up with something that is really creative. And right now, the situation is that we're not, the children are constrained, or become feared about making mistake. Like, look at us. We're going to school, and the happiest thing for us is we can get some score, the high score, and without making mistakes. And if we make some mistakes, we would being afraid of like being judged by other people, by parents, by teacher, and by the whole system, by the ranking. So the children's creativity are being killed because something is frightening the children's creativity. So I'm going to analyze who is killing the children's creativity.
Who's the murderer?
Yeah, who's the murderer? Murderer. Well, we're not saying that children's creativity is being killed by education, by school. School and education are good things. They bring us to the ungraspable future. They link the creativity into fascinating reality. But there is something wrong with the current education system. One is the hierarchy of subjects. Well, we are from like everywhere in the world, Tunisia, China, Japan, and Korea. But whenever in America, no matter where you go, the hierarchy of the public education system is the same. At the very top is mathematics, then language, then humanity, and then arts. Even within arts, there are some hierarchies. Like at the top is music, then drama, then dance. So all these hierarchies of subjects is limiting. It's limiting children and imagination, and they are feared of choosing the thing they really like. And also, the whole education, the public education system is built on the idea of academic ability. Like, we want to produce as many university professors as possible, and the whole education system is to getting more people into university. However, within this kind of hierarchy subjects, there are some really creative, brilliant people left out of the whole system. So, what is the idea behind hierarchy subjects and the overwhelming emphasis on academic ability? There are two reasons. One is usefulness, and this other is the misunderstanding or the misinterpretation by academic ability, about intelligence. Well, actually, there's no public education system before 19th century because there's no industrialization before that time. Since we have the industrialization, then we emphasize the thing that is useful. So people are used to encouraged to study some mathematics, so engineer, and they don't do arts. And if you suggest to somebody in the old days that don't do art and don't do music, it's kind of benign advice. However, it's not the case any longer. And right now, about academic ability right now is academic ability is not equal to intelligence. And right now, we're in an era that degree is something, academic ability is inflated, and degree is going through some high inflation. And according to UNESCO, in the next 30 years, there will be more people who have a university degree more than ever before. So degree is no longer the case. A degree is not the thing that really matters any longer. So we have to change the way we think about education and ability. So after analyzing how the creativity is killed by the hierarchy and overemphasize on academic ability, and we should rethink about what is real intelligence? Well, intelligence have three characteristics. First, diverse. We think in different ways. We think visually, we think by sound, we think by movement, because like some people just like, they would like to dance to think. Well, we should respect all this, the diversity of intelligence. We cannot emphasize only one thing, like, yeah. And second, dynamic. All the visual, sound, and movement are all connected together, like the products from Apple. You can shuffle your touch to change the music, you can touch it, you can see the albums, you can see the video. That Apple's product is a good example of the dynamics of intelligence. The last thing is distinct. Intelligence is something distinct, especially on the individual level. Some people are especially particularly good at something. Some people are good at dance. You have to dig out the children, or I mean the parents have to dig out their distinct intelligence and make them extraordinary. So we are celebrating, the TED Talk is a series of celebration to celebrate the imagination of the human's great imagination. And we have to protect the children's imagination so that we can have more fascinating future by by respecting the diversity of intelligence, protecting dynamic of intelligence, and help the individual children to find their distinct intelligence. Thank you. Do you have any questions?